I noticed a surprising pattern. The more I travel, the smarter I get. I recently learned that Émile Zola noted such a pattern. I'm certainly not as smart as Zola, but the tour is long and the possibilities of the brain are limitless. In this episode, there will be something that will make you smarter. I will finally leave the capital and really get a taste of travel. And you, don't fall behind. What? Are you kidding me? The village of Sofievka is located just an hour's drive from Nur-Sultan, and I guess it would have been an unremarkable village near the capital if people of a rare profession in the modern world, eagle hunters, did not live here. In order to see them and their regal pets, we drove 63 kilometers. Eagle hunters lead the life of ordinary villagers, but when guests come to them, they are transformed. They wear a malachai fox cap, a sleeveless jacket embroidered with a national pattern, and a beautiful belt with a massive plaque. This is the ancient art of the Kazakh people. Now this craft is considered as a separate area. Now we have come to visit Jibek, who tames hunting birds. He will tell us about when and how he started his business.
Қай уақыттан басталғанын, жалпы бұл іспен не себепті айналыса бастағанын айтып беретін болады. Серікбек аға.
Jibek, tell us about your work. You have a golden eagle in your hands. Since when did you start doing this?
Бұл іспен қашаннан бері айналыса бастағаныз?
My grandfather was also involved in this work. It is a heritage that has been passed down from generation to generation. Our father was eagle hunter. We learned the basics of this business from him. Then, when my father was gone, we took matters in our own hands and began to tame birds of prey. And now I myself teach this craft to my own son. I gave him a small bird named Kashiga. Now he is training with Kashiga. I have a golden eagle in my hands now. It is now 2 years old. Taking care of a golden eagle is not easy. How do you care for them? If you have a golden eagle, then you cannot just pour food for it, like for chickens. This is a sacred bird. The golden eagle does not eat regular food. It only eats meat. And not some carrion, but fresh meat with blood. That's what at the essence of care. It needs to be fed on time. It is molting now. Molting is the time when a bird changes its feather down, new down grows in it. For example, the hawk was born dark brown, but it turns into a dark blue color. The golden eagle also has new fluff. It requires timely care, nutrition, and clean meat. Jibek said that they hunt with the golden eagle mainly in winter because the animals that the golden eagle hunt are better visible on the white snow. There is even a saying, golden eagle goes hunting in the snow. I wonder what the local golden eagles do in the summer then. Well, they have one honorable occupation. We are often visited by foreign tourists, since we are located near the capital. They call us in advance and warn that they will come to see the golden eagles. Then they come. Some want to hold them in their hands, and some want to see how they fly. But more often they ask to be photographed with a golden eagle in their arms. And those who come in the winter, we take out hunting, show the hunt for hares. Well, in the summer they only hold them in their arms, stroke them, and take pictures. Jibek Aga has 5 birds. Each of them is for a specific purpose. One golden eagle for hunting, a separate bird for showing to tourists, the rest are intended to participate in annual competitions. At the moment, the National Association has classified hunting with golden eagles as a national sport. Each region hosts various championships and tournaments. A competition was to be held in October. Now, due to quarantine, the terms have changed a little. Many participants from abroad come to these competitions, as well as eagle hunters from different regions of Kazakhstan. We have competitions, they go well. We have prizes. The golden eagle is one of the most common images in Turkic mythology. In ancient times, the peoples inhabiting the territory of our state gave bright epithets to the golden eagles, such as Stap-Fan, Lord of the Heavenly Heights, Favorite of the Sky, King of Birds, and Khan of the Birds. In modern Kazakhstan, golden eagles have also become a special symbol. A soaring golden eagle under the sun is depicted on the flag of the Republic. He conveys the ideas of freedom and independence of the country. I'm looking at a father and son with golden eagles in their hands. How beautiful and majestic they are. I am very grateful to these people because they preserve our steppe traditions. And I am a guide of another steppe tradition. I wander from one place to another and tell people about my wanderings. And Adilet helps me with this. The Kigash River is one of the branches of the lower reaches of the Volga. It flows through the territory of Atyrau region of Kazakhstan and Astrakhan region of Russia. Atyrau travel companies have an unusual route connected to the river, which is called in the Lotus Paradise. We arrived in Atyrau just at the beginning of August and could not miss the chance to see its bloom. When you mention the word lotus, something related to India, China or Japan immediately comes to mind. However, not for the Atyrau people. These wonderful plants grow in Komangazi district of Atyrau region. We are going to see them. Let's go! Well, the nature of Atyrau is very cool. We will go to see lotuses, but besides them there is a lot to see. Look over here, what a wonderful nature. Look here, once it was a decent boat, it could roam the waves. They say that there are many birds in these places, many types. Perhaps we will meet them, then we will see them. There is one. Have you seen water? How clean it is. It would be great if fish jumped out next to us. Like in the movie Titanic. The nature of this region, in my opinion, is special. The nut lotus or the Caspian lotus is the most ancient plant growing in water. In Kazakhstan it is found in one place, here. The flower blooms from June the 15th to the end of August. Speaking of antiquity, Rosa said that once they found lotus seeds in Chinese peat bogs over 1,000 years old. The seeds were planted and after a while they sprouted and a flower appeared. What a shelf life, right? The lotus is bred in warm countries, sowing seeds in the silt of lakes and canals. The plant is useful. Every part of it is used. Leaves are used instead of asparagus, marmalade is made from seeds, and tea is made from flowers. The local lotus moved here from the Volga floods, and it is considered the northernmost in the world. But how it got to the Volga is not clear. Either the migratory birds brought it there, or the merchants brought it from China. The version about merchants seems to be the most probable. Thanks to the Silk Road, it is thanks to it that lotus seeds were brought to the Caspian, and its natural structure helps the flower to survive in the hot Atyrau climate. The roots of the flower are very long and completely submerged underwater, while the stems are located half on the surface of the water. The plant also has leaves that are large, like a flat dish. The secular thing about its leaves, they do not absorb moisture. We are thirsty, but the lotus is not because its root is in the water, and its leaves do not absorb moisture. Look! Amazing! Lotus does not want to drink even at plus 40, and in winter large cucumber-like roots are protected from frost by carbohydrate that we all know.
Сондықтан мына гүл
This flower survives the 40 degrees frost winter safely underwater.
аязды
Because there is a lot of starch in its roots, the plant uses it to survive the winter.
сонымен пайдаланып қыстық уақытты өткізеді.
In Egypt, lotus rhizomes were even eaten in boiled form like potatoes. Well, in general, lotus flowers are of some special importance for many Eastern nations. Egyptian pharaohs wore flowers on their heads as a sign of their divine origin. In ancient Greece, the lotus was a symbol of the goddess of love, Aphrodite. It is a sin not to be photographed near such a noble flower. A similar photo posted on social networks with the hashtag across the Kazakh Land and wait for cool prizes. Ribbit, ribbit. Did you see a frog-like from a cartoon? Will you see something like that in the city? Of course you won't. Therefore, you need to go out into nature more often. It is not for nothing that yogis use the lotus in their practices. I smelled the flower and felt so good in my soul. My aura cleared up and even fatigue from the long journey vanished.
күн батқанда
When the sun goes down, the leaves close. At the moment, while the sun is still out, the leaves are open and turned towards the sun.
қозғалып бұрылып күнге қарап тұрады.
What a smart plant! There is a lot to learn from it. When you will have a chance to visit here, just contemplate its beauty, inhale its scent, and in no case pick the flowers. They are included in the Red Book of Kazakhstan. I recently read the news that after one such tour, 8 flowers were found in the passenger's boat. Violators were punished. In ancient Greece, there were also those who wanted to pick the lotus, and not only pick, but also eat the flower. They were called lotus eaters. However, the lotus eaters could have paid a heavy price. And here's why. The belief connected with the lotus says that the one who eats the lotus flower will forever remain in the homeland of the lotus. Should I eat a lotus? No, that won't work. I have to go home. True, it will not be possible to return home so quickly because there is still half of the expedition ahead. So I remember the house and Agzer wanders somewhere in the Kazakh steppes without me. I would like to quickly share all my emotions with you and my colleague Agzer. Residents of the capital are so tired at work that by Friday they have a strong desire to leave the city. And Burabai is one of the most beloved locations where people usually spend their weekends. We are in Burabai. Welcome to Kazakhstan, Switzerland. Burabai is known for its pristine nature, not only in Kazakhstan, but all over the world. As a resort area, this place has been known since the 19th century. And this means that there are a lot of beautiful places that we can show you. Well, I will introduce you to the best of them. I love this part of the road at the entry to Burabai. You can stop and walk in the fresh air among rare plants. There are 757 plant species growing in Burabai, and 12 of them are included in the famous Red Book. It is also home to 305 species of animals, and I think I now see one of them, a squirrel. Burabai's nature is unique and diverse. We will see it thoroughly a little later, but now I can't wait to look at the recently created sculptures in the new resort area. They say it's a heaven for Instagram bloggers. A new resort area is under construction in Burabai. At the moment, more than 150 hotels, a sports complex, as well as health points are being built in the resort area of Akbura. In general, the zone will open its doors to visitors in December 2021. Today we were a little unlucky with the weather. It got very cold, I even had to put on a jacket. And it seems like it's going to rain. But we have been even through worse situations, so we were not afraid of the rain and still continued to film. The difference of Akbura resort area from other resort areas is its art compositions. Now I am at the sculpture Keeper of the Forest. Despite the fact that Akbura has not yet been discovered, this sculpture is very popular. It turns out that the authors of this sculpture named it Keeper of the Forest so that he would guard the forests of Burabai. The Keeper of the Forest is of course not the only sculpture in the Akbura resort area. More than 30 sculptures have been installed here. It is planned to install 10 more in the near future.
The
Keeper of the Forest is very popular. Tourists come here especially to take pictures next to this sculpture. Naturally, I don't want to fall behind them. You too join us. Take a photo just like me, post it on social networks with the hashtag across the Kazakh Land and win a great prize.
Әлеуметтік желілерге салыңыз да біздің байқаудың жеңімпазы атаныңыздар. Бурабайда көктем мезгілінде қатты жауын-шашын болып, соның кесірінен
In the spring there was a heavy rainstorm in Burabai, as a result of which many trees fell. Who knows, maybe that's why the management of the resort area decided not to waste the trees. They asked sculptors to make sculptures from destroyed trees. Thus, among more than 30 sculptures located in Akbura, there are a lot of wooden sculptures. Right now, I'm standing next to one of them.
Жетерлік сондықтан да. Ал дәл қазір мен соның бірінің жанындамын.
We started our voyage around Burabai from the newest location. The most interesting things are yet to come. I travel and try to show the most magnificent places in Burabai in order to please our beloved viewers and show them all this beauty. And while Adilet is probably lying and messing around, who knows? I also work here, by the way, in Seat and Tears. I came to show you Rin sands. Rin sands are a huge expanse of sandy mounds and dunes in the Caspian lowland, located at the watershed of the Volga and Ural rivers. The area of the desert is about 40,000 square kilometers. It is curious that they are mentioned in the world-famous saga of J.K. Rowling.
Егер сіз әйгілі Джоан Роулингтон
If you are a true fan of J.K. Rowling's famous book Harry Potter, then you understand why I hum this melody in this place. Based on the book's universe, in 1877, it was here in Rin Sands, and in our language it is Narin Sands, where the World Championship in the magic game of Quidditch was held. But this championship was forgotten by everyone, that's why it was named the championship that one remembers. Amnesia is not a good thing. Let's go on. The sandy sea is in some places quite high hills. Some are up to 13 meters high. The sand here consists of a completely pure reddish-yellow color. Sometimes in the sand you can find seashells. Apparently there was once a sea here. By the way, let's talk about water. If you are really thirsty here, don't worry. If you dig a hole 1 meter deep in the vicinity here, you will find water. At least there is such an assumption. Let's not check it on ourselves. Let's move on. We drove up to the famous Rin Sands from the direction of the village of Isatai. Locals say that fresh groundwater is shallow. In spring, part of the floodwaters of the Karaozen and Sariozen rivers penetrates through separate channels into the Narin sands. However, there is still a problem with water supply. The land is good, but there are some difficulties with water. It is still a little salty. In addition, this year there was no rain. The weather was hot, but despite this, we are slowly muddling along. That's how we live. I was always interested in how people live in small villages in Kazakhstan. It is especially interesting to be born and grow up surrounded by sands. I am a resident of Isatay district. We have been living in this village for 30 years. This village is home to about 1,500 people. Everyone here has work. There is a railway, there is oil, people are engaged in agriculture and animal husbandry. We are fine. In this elevated area, people graze their livestock, and they are doing well. You look at these sands and you cannot understand what the cattle can eat here. But among the dunes, there is still vegetation. In the depressions between the sandy hillocks, there are small groves of poplar, alder and aspen. On light brown soils, Juzgun astragalus and wormwood, wheatgrass and tamarisk grow. A funny story is connected with a tamarisk thickets that happened to foreign tourists who decided to ride a camel. Then we got on the ATV, which we had at hand, and drove to look for them. Then we see the camel climbed the tamarisk thickets. A man who was sitting on a camel, not knowing how to reverse, beat it on the sides all the time, thereby pushing it into the thickets even more. The camel's sides were already reddened. That was the story. Then we pulled him out and he kept complaining. There is no reverse gear. I was also offered to look at the sands sitting on the back of the ship of the desert. Watch what came of it. If you ever visit these spots, be sure to take a camel ride. Let's go! Great! Don't pay attention that the camel roars. This is how he shows he's happy about our meeting. But seriously, I realized that camels are super cool transport in the sands. Where the legs get stuck, the camel passes without difficulty. Aman Gildi had a story about how hard it is sometimes for an ATV and inept tourists in the Narin sands. And also, I don't know, they probably think that Shagil is a mountain. They want to get there on an ATV, and the sand is loose. It often happened that they fell, piercing the sand. We're used to it, but they are interested. Such funny cases happen when tourists come. If tourist routes open here in the future, it will be good for us. When tourism develops, it is good for everyone. We spent a few exciting hours in Isatay village. Now it's time to head back to Atirau. On the way back, we passed a 19th century border sign. There are no border guards, and the border mark has been standing here for about a century and a half. This is the Tazkiran border mark built in the 19th century. This historical monument is located in Isatay district of Atirau region, 2 kilometers from Akistau village on the Atirau-Astrakhan highway. I wondered how our ancestors built a border post out of clay which managed to stood for such a long time. It turns out that the whole secret is in the clay's composition. Adobe, stones and reeds were fastened together with a solution that had camel milk in it. We need to tell about it to our builders. In the 19th century, when the Oral region was transferred from Orenburg province to Astrakhan province, this monument marked the border between the provinces. From this point, the territory of the Nogai Khanate began. Now, in the 21st century, Tazkiran is adjacent to the power line and seems to remind us about a quick change of the eras. But it is the passing travelers who reminded me about the change of generations. The father brought his son to show Tazkiran, tell the story, and the son listened attentively. Our trip to Atirau region has come to an end. Ahead of us are Raktau and Mangistau. I'm looking forward to it. In this issue, I learned how golden eagles are kept and how to hunt with them. And also I finally came to see burabai, took a picture with the keeper of the forest and enjoyed the crisp forest air. And I rode a camel, smelled lotuses and rode a boat. We finished our trip in Atyrau. I learned that there are many unique places in Atyrau region that every Kazakhstan citizen should visit at least once in his life.